I have a couple photographers that I've worked with in the past. I actually am going to be setting up a photo shoot in a couple weeks that I'm super excited about. So a lot of them are local photographers, but good photographers, there are several out there. So if you're ever looking for photographers, I can definitely set you up with ones that might align with your goals and what you want your imagery to be like. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I know everyone has a busy day, especially with the holiday season, and that is what the topic for today's live is how do we balance holiday health and being able to be present in the holiday, but also to have enough focus on ourselves that we can be our true selves when we're with family and friends. So I wanna start out with a little prayer to help us get into the mindset and getting the tone of this recording set. So if you want to go ahead and close your eyes. Universe, I want to thank you for guiding these beautiful souls to join me today. May this session grant them a moment of peace, a moment of reflection, and a moment of connection, and that we can continue to spread this flowing energy with our loved ones this holiday season. Satnam. And I want you to continue to have your eyes closed for a moment and reflect on when in your recent history you just felt at ease. Maybe you were on vacation. Maybe you took a walk in the park with your dog and were admiring the trees and the sunlight hitting your skin on your face and your neck. Maybe you were reading a book cuddled up next to the fireplace, or perhaps you were just holding hands with your significant other and walking down the sidewalk, embracing that moment together. So really visualize what that moment was like, where you just felt this pure joy, bliss, relaxation. Maybe it was opening up the door to your cabin on a lakefront, or walking down the beach with your toes in the sand and that sea breeze crashing on the ocean waves. Now that you have that in your mind, we want to use that same positive focus and energy to envision how our holiday is going to be. A lot of times when we get started at a family event or we are hosting a family event, we really get caught up in that stress of what is happening and what people are expecting of us, what certain relatives might say, or what has triggered them in the past to go down this rabbit hole that gives you this anxious feeling. And we really don't want to focus on that. All I want you to focus on is in your mind, figuring out what are the things that you can do to relive that positive, joyful experience and to bring that same feeling to the next present moment. So there's a few ways that we can go about that. And first and foremost is this awareness of recognizing what is it that allows you to feel your most authentic self, to feel that true bliss, to feel that support, to feel loved, feel seen and heard. In today's society, a lot of us don't feel that because everyone's so distracted with their phones, with social media, what have you. So what can we do specifically to make that more at the forefront in our lives? And when it comes to the holidays, we don't always control who's showing up. We don't always control what food's going to be on the table. We don't always control our schedule. So that's where a little bit of pre-planning, preparation, and this mindset priming that we're doing right now can help you have a more positive holiday experience with your loved ones. So I'm going to go through some of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people do when it comes to health and the holidays in regard to following a meal plan or your fitness goals. And then I'm going to go into ways to improve on these so that we can have a healthier holiday. So first and foremost, some of the biggest mistakes that I've seen and even done myself, number one is feeling like you have to crush your workout the day of the holiday or the day after the holiday. If you are training on a regular basis, maybe you have a fitness goal, you should be intentional with your training no matter if there's a holiday or not. So if that's something that you recognize in yourself, you're like, I actually haven't been training as hard as I might the day after I eat a big meal, might be something to really look into for yourself and to recognize that that could be a lagging area for you. Another piece that a lot of people have a mistake with in their health is they either fast or backload their calories on the day of a holiday. You're actually going to be harming your metabolism more so than if you just eat smaller meals throughout the day up until you get to that holiday event. So I would not recommend the fasting or just backloading your calories, but rather just maybe you're going to lower your carbs earlier in the day, or you're going to minimize fats earlier in the day so you can enjoy them later on with the meal that you're going to have at the family gathering. Another mistake I've seen is people do not set a boundary and communicate their preferences prior to the event. For example, say you have a young child and you know you're going to have to leave after a couple of hours. Maybe you need to tell the host, hey, I just want to let you know I have to leave by 2 o'clock because my baby girl needs to get put down for her nap at 2:30. Something as simple as that, but being as specific as possible so that there's not this fluid, well, I'm going to feel bad if I leave early. And if I don't communicate that, they might get offended that I'm leaving early. It's all about communication at the end of the day. So that's something else we can improve on in our holidays, is just setting those expectations. Another example of expectations is maybe you're a competitor or you're on a very restricted meal plan. I'm in an elimination diet right now, so I can't eat a lot of foods. So if I was going to my family's event, I would tell them, hey, just want to let you know I'm currently going through some gut imbalances and I have a really restricted food plan. I don't want you to feel bad. You don't have to prepare anything special for me. I'm going to bring my own foods, but I just want to let you know so you don't think that I don't want to have your food, but more so I want to be present with you and be able to enjoy the holiday without any gut distress. So that's just another way to communicate it to our loved ones. And, there's always going to be people that criticize when we do something different from the norm. People that criticize when we're an outlier. That's not on us. That's on them. And when we create these boundaries and create the vision of our healthiest self and visualize what we are like in our purest moments of joy, in success, in happiness, we don't even let those things bother us anymore. And so sometimes it might feel like they're poking the bear a little bit and they're just trying to get a charge out of you by saying, oh, you're eating your dog food again. But at the end of the day, sometimes they're jealous. And that's why they say these things, because they don't have that same discipline and commitment that you do. Now, on the flip side, I have been in both scenarios where I've binged on holidays and I've enjoyed way too much food and then was even in pain the following day, maybe partook in too much alcohol. But then on the opposite end, sometimes I underate and then I binged when I got home. So that is an imbalance in the relationship with food and the way that you take care of your body and will eat food according to your goals. So just one of the biggest mistakes that I see with that is you don't have this self-awareness yet of how you think about food, how food nourishes your body, and not just thinking of it as, well, I want to eat as much because other people prepared it for me or because it has sugars or something I don't normally eat. You don't need to stuff yourself. Been there, done that. So ways that we can improve on boundaries, on our health this holiday season. Number one, be active. You don't have to go to the gym on the holiday, but maybe you want to get your steps in. You go for a walk after you eat, which is great for your digestion to begin with, and you get to spend some quality time with your siblings, your friends, your parents, whoever. It's always good to be out and about. Now, obviously, climate can affect certain people. If you have snow on the ground, you're not going to be wanting to walk outside. Maybe you're just standing up instead of sitting down, which also can help with that digestion as well. Number 2 is to increase your water intake throughout the day. A lot of times we are under drinking water, and that can also cause some issues with digestion and just overall staying hydrated, especially in the colder temperatures. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water before the event. While you're eating, I don't recommend drinking water with the meal. You want to drink and maybe sip before, like 10 minutes before is when I usually try to cut off water. And then 10 minutes after eating, maybe you wait 5 to 10 minutes before you drink water or drink another beverage. That way, you're giving your system enough time to focus on the digestion instead of trying to process the water that's in your body. Another tip that I found really helpful when we're thinking about food is if you know you're going to be eating something that you don't normally eat, make sure you bring some either digestive enzymes or glucose disposal agent. That way you can supplement in helping the digestion. I've got some clients right now that are working on their gut and balancing their gut, and I tell them, like, don't worry about bringing all your supplements, but if you know you're going to be eating something out of the norm, having some digestive enzymes, even HCl on hand can be super beneficial. So those are things, that I normally keep in my purse or in my bag for myself, for David. That way they can help with overall health and digestion during the entire event. So another way that we can work on our health, this goes back to the biggest mistakes, is communicating with the family that are going to be there what you need. Maybe they ask you, hey Caroline, are you going to need something special for Thanksgiving? Because I know you try and avoid gluten. And I can tell them, yeah, if you want to make some green beans that are plain instead of green bean casserole, that would be awesome. Or maybe, can you just roast me a sweet potato instead of sweet potato casserole? That'd be great. Simple things like that, You can always make adjustments and adaptations to plain foods. If someone is bringing something and you don't know what's in it, usually you want to avoid it if you're someone who's on a more restrictive diet. If you're pretty open and you're doing a free meal, maybe enjoy a little bit at first and see how your body responds to it. But just know if you're eating a lot of different foods at once that you don't normally eat, they can all affect the gut at the same time, and you won't be able to pinpoint what it was specifically that affected you. So that's just kind of a rule of thumb. Last but not least, on that communication piece, is before you go to the holiday, try and sit in a meditation or a journaling moment so that you focus on how you want to feel at this holiday. Because if you already start the day with anxiety of, I have to hear Aunt Beth talk about XYZ again, then you're already starting off in a negative mindset, and odds are it's only going to continue to perpetuate once you actually get in front of the family members. So maybe you start off with a little mantra of gratitude, of I'm here to be present, to be joyful, and to be my true self. Or maybe you do have this internal boundary of, if someone starts gossiping about another family member, I'm not going to engage in the conversation. And that can be really hard for some people sometimes, because for some reason society just likes to talk about people. The news is really great about triggering that. So if I hear someone talking about like a family member, instead of being like, wait, tell me more, I'll be like, okay, I understand. You guys can talk about that. I'll be over here. And I kind of exit the conversation. So those things that have helped me, and sometimes it's awkward, but when you set clear boundaries for yourself, you know when you're not meant to be in part of a conversation, or maybe even being in the room makes you uncomfortable. Find ways to just focus on more of that inner self, that inner energy, focusing on making sure that you're drinking your water, you're being present in why you're there which is usually to see family and friends that you haven't seen in a long time, to get together and be grateful for the season, which shouldn't be materialistic anyways, but it has become that. So those are kind of my rules of thumb. If anyone has any questions, please do go ahead and comment them, and we can go from there and kind of do more of an open forum at this point, because that was kind of the overarching theme that I like to focus on, is just how you set up for success when you're going into the holiday. And if you're hosting, they go to the same effect, right? You want to ask guests that you might know who have a dietary restriction, or maybe you have a brother who's vegan, or whatever it is. Finding ways that you can be more inclusive as a host is super beneficial, but then never letting yourself down. The only person in charge of your happiness is you, no one else. So you have to keep that at the forefront of everything. Jessica, I love it. That is awesome. And to be honest, that's been the hardest thing when I was still at home and going home for the holidays. Was I was bodybuilding, so I've been training for the past 6 years, and I would go home and mom wouldn't necessarily ask what I needed. She would just assume that I would bring whatever I wanted. And it kind of stank because, at the end of the day, I wanted to have a piece of her apple pie, but I also knew I didn't want to have the enriched wheat and all the added sugar and the milk that she put into it. So, it's kind of a pros and cons, and I still have to balance the relationship with my mom because she doesn't understand all of my focus on health, and she doesn't like bodybuilding at all. So even now, it makes it a little bit tough, but I am happy of how I've developed and who I've become as a person. And you cannot control someone's perspective of you. I heard this quote a few years back about someone's opinion of you is none of your damn business. And I think that's 100% correct. Because if you're at the gym, you're at the grocery store, there's going to be random strangers that in their head, they're looking at you and they're judging you. And they're like, either positive or negative. But it's none of your business. Because if you're being your best self and you're doing something for you, for your family, with positive intention in mind, it shouldn't matter what others think, because you know that you're doing it for a good reason, through morals and values. I need to drink my water, speaking of. Does anyone have any other holiday tips that they have experienced recently, or any recipes that they like to bring that are healthier alternatives? We got some good meditation music on now. If there's no other questions, I really appreciate y'all tuning in. And Jay, my next show I just posted, I'm not sure. I don't even know if I want to compete anymore. I don't want to compete against anyone but myself. And so going for a pro card, it would be great. And I know they have high quality caliber genetics and a good physique. But right now I'm focusing on my mental health more than my bodybuilding goals, because I have other goals that I want to accomplish in my life. So, and this is one of them. Being able to live stream every week, share my experiences with my clients, with friends, people that I can help inspire them to live a healthier life, and not just focusing on an aesthetic goal. But as always, I'm always open to anyone asking questions. I try and respond to everybody on here, as well as Instagram, email. I am running a special 6-week offer right now. So for Black Friday, from today through Monday, if you are interested in coaching with me and you've never worked with me before, I'm offering 6 weeks, everything that my one-on-one clients get, for $299. So just send me a DM or an email, and we'd love to set up a free consult to see if this is for sure the route you want to go. And I hope to hear from y'all soon. So Jessica, that's awesome. And at the end of the day, our parents are the people who raised us, and they want to see us get better and grow, and they want the ultimate best for us. So setting that boundary and just communicating, I'm sure it makes her feel a lot better, and making you happy makes her happy. But I'm going to exit here and head to the gym, get a good leg workout in, and then I have to go to the grocery store the day before holiday. Not the smartest, but it's gonna happen. So I love you too. I hope you guys have a great day.